Grand Rising, brothers and sisters, peace, love, harmony, and light. How y'all feeling today, man? Halita, man, I'm feeling a whole lot better. Thank you to each and every one of you who checked up on me and, sent me emails and texts asking if I'm okay. I appreciate that. It means a lot. I always tell people, the only time that people care is when they show that they care. Because everybody could always talk, and talk is cheap sometimes. You know what I mean? But it's a beautiful day out here in Brooklyn. It's raining, but of course we need the rain, so I'm not going to complain. I'm going to make an attempt to head out to the library because I got work to do. But anyway, with that being said, I am going to drop some information for you guys today as usual. Information I believe that is pertinent to us moving forward. But before I do so, I would like to just get something, off my chest. Okay? And by no means I'm upset. I don't get upset that easily. I am very slow to anger. But when I get angry, trust me, it's like the wrath of the Most High. So I'm not upset. However, I have to speak my mind. You see, there are people in this world, especially our people, the people that we call American Aborigines or who identify as Black and African American and niggers. One thing I know is this: there has never been any so-called leader or teacher, whatever you want to term them as or coin them as. There has never been one in history, at least that I know of, that has satisfied 100% of the people 100% of the times. I'm going to repeat myself. To my knowledge, there has never been a so-called leader or a so-called teacher that has satisfied 100% of the people 100% of the times. It doesn't matter what you do, you are never going to satisfy every single individual that you are making an attempt to assist. That is just facts. Because people are just too divided. Okay? People are just too divided, and everybody have, for the most part, people always come with their own agendas. You feel me? And people are just oppositionist by nature. Why am I saying all this, and where am I going with all this? For me, I could only speak for myself. I am very passionate about what I do. What I do, it's my life, my livelihood. That's what it's all about. Because I have found my purpose. I wouldn't want to be doing anything else. And people always ask me, Chief, if you could change anything about your life and what have you done and what you are doing, what would you do? And the honest truth is, I wouldn't change anything. Because everything that I've been through is what made me who and what I am today. And to put that into perspective, it will take some time. But one thing I know, if I were to condense, all my experiences and tell you what it prepared me for, I would put it that way. It prepared me for a man who's going to stand on my ancestors' shoulders and have them stand on mine to restore their legacy. In short, that's what it would be. And just to add to that, I would also say that it doesn't matter what anybody say or does or give me. They could never get me to betray my ancestors. Now, it's not going to happen. So guess what? I'm not the one. They will be wasting their time and you will be wasting your time. I cannot be bought. I don't care how much of your fiat currency you give me. I'm not the one. Okay? But I've realized that people will come on this YouTube channel, and it doesn't matter how much information I give and how genuine it is. Now, granted, no one has 100% of the truth. Everything is based on a build. Now, I may give some information that may not be complete, and I've always said that. Brothers and sisters, if I give you any information that's not complete, please point it out. Let us do the research together. Let us build together. Let us grow together. I don't know it all. I don't claim to know it all. Okay? But one thing I know is this. The information is not wrong. It's never wrong. You see, wrong and right is all based on perception. That's a fact. I'm going to repeat myself. Wrong and right is always based on perception. However, information could always be incomplete. And for me, I'm a man of integrity. If I give you any type of information and it's not complete, and I've done more research and find out, hey, you know what, damn chief, what you said yesterday, you need to update that. Guess what I do? I come back and I let you know, because I don't want to leave any room to mislead my people. We have been through too much of that, and there have been too many advocates who have came along in misleading our people, and I don't want to go down in history when my legacy is being told that Chief Kalinago was a sellout. That will never be the case. Never be the case. Or at least it wouldn't, people won't be able to prove that, because people are going to talk anyway. We can't control what people say or do. But when the facts are all laid out, you see, people will know that they were lying. They were not genuine. Okay? Another thing I'm going to point out is this. We may have the same destination. Now, I'm going to sum up our destination in a few words. Our destination, get back our land. Our destination, get our freedom. Our destination, so that these people could leave us the hell alone. Okay? And the ultimate destination is, you know what? Yes, leave our land. Go back from where you came from. But that's a long shot. But if you're going to be here, let us be. All right? Don't force us to assimilate. Give us back our land. It's ours. It's us. It's ours. It belonged to us. If it belonged to the heir, then it belonged to the heir of the heir, which is us, the posterity of those ancient Americans. By birthright, by blood, we are them. So what's theirs is ours by default. And that could be proven and won in any court of law that's just, that is. So our destination may be the same, but our mode of transportation may be different. And I'm going to repeat myself. Our destination is the same, or at least for the most part, I believe so. But, however, our mode of transportation will not always be the same. And I always use this example. If going to California is the ultimate destination, what does that mean? It means that once we get to California, we're going to have our freedom. We're going to have our land back. We are going to be left alone. So California is the ultimate destination. Some people may say, hey, you know what, Chief? Man, they got a Greyhound going to California. I'm going to jump on a Greyhound. And I'm going to say, fine, see you when you get there. Some people may say, I don't like Greyhound. I've seen that Peter Pan movie. I like the Peter Pan buses. So I'm going to take the Peter Pan. Some people may say, hey, you know what? I don't like buses, period. I'm going to take the train. I like Amtrak. Some people may say, man, I don't like the trains. They get me sick. I'm going to drive. I'm going to take my car. Okay? Some people may say, hey, you know what, man? I have a car, but I'd rather take my van because I want to carpool. I want to take some brothers and sisters with me. Some people may say, hey, I want to ride my bike. Some people may say, hey, man, I love to swim. I'm going to swim to California. Some people may say, I have gained a few pounds and I don't like to exercise, but seeing that we are going to our destination, I want to get there feeling good. So I'm going to walk. I want to shed those pounds. More power to you. Some people may be as bold and say, hey, I feel like I'm vibrating on a different frequency. I feel like I could fly. So they may attempt to go on a big building and believe that they could fly to California and go ahead and spread their arms like they got wings and start to fly. But when they jump off the building, they end up 40 stories down, smushed like a bug. So I suggest don't let that be your mode of transportation. You feel me? But the point I'm trying to make is this. Our destination may be the same, but our mode of transportation is different. I am saying all this to say, a lot of people come on my channel and they come to criticize, well, Chief, that's not what we should be doing, or that's not how we should do it. Well, let me ask you a question. How do you know? Because you see, many have came, and I'm talking about if there was a guaranteed way for us to accomplish everything that we need to accomplish, it would have been done already. It would have been done already. You know why? Because we have been going through this for over 500 years. And not one single person has got it 100% correct. But however, it never meant that they gave up. They keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And I'm going to give you a few examples. Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Harriet Tubman, and just so many others. But I'm going to speak on the most two popular ones that I know, Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Do you think that they pleased everybody that followed them? If so, then they wouldn't have gotten killed, because they got killed by the same people who looked like them. At least they pulled the trigger. Look how they ended up. So I know what could happen to people like me, but I'm not worried about that. The point I'm trying to make is this. I know that every generation is supposed to pick up the baton and make it better for the next generation. And that's what I'm doing. I may not know it all, but I know a whole lot. And I'm willing to teach it. I am willing to share it so that we could take it to the next generation, so they could take it to the next generation and finally get to our destination. Okay? So instead of coming to my channel and saying, well, this is not this and this, why don't you send me an email and say, hey, Chief, you know what? Maybe we could do this too. But don't tell me what I'm doing is wrong, because it's not. Okay? Going to Washington, I am going to Washington for a particular reason. Not because I want to be in the streets of Washington. No. I have a meeting. I'm not going to tell you what it's about, because a lot of y'all have a lot of negative energies. Okay? So I'm not going to share that with you. However, I have a meeting. And going to Washington is for a particular reason. Some of you may say, oh, well, that's not the best move. Well, let me ask you a question. Who is making and passing all the legislations? Where is it being passed that's changing your lives? It's in Washington. And that's the problem. A lot of y'all want to fix situations from the bottom looking up. You see me? I want to go from the top. The best way to take out a snake is to cut out its head. If you cut out the tail, it might just grow another tail. But I guarantee if you cut the head off, it is not going to grow another head. So my mode of transportation may be different from yours, but just know that it's always with integrity. It's always in righteousness. It is always with morality. You feel me? So once again, it is very, very simple. A lot of people like to make it complicated, and you know what? Let me just, and this is, I'm not here to impress you, but I'm here to impress upon you that I am not the one that will go down in history as one who betrayed my ancestors. No, it's not going to happen. So if I have to stand in front of a tank, because like I said, you have seen what happened to Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. And I've said this before. If I have to stand in front of a tank, in front of a sniper, in front of a drone, and scream American Aboriginal and let them pull that trigger, well, so be it. I'm not worried about it. But brothers and sisters, we are living in a different time. We don't have to pick up guns and knives to win this battle. All we have to use is our head. That's it. It is that so simple. It's so simple. And I'm going to be as bold enough to say, I know how to do it. I know what needs to be done. Now, that's a bold statement to make, but I could back it up. I know exactly what to do. You feel me? So instead of coming and complaining, why don't you come and build? Send me an email. You feel me? And the truth of the matter is, a lot of you have so much negative energy. Even if our destination is the same, I would not want to be in the same mode of transportation with you because you are too corrupted. You are not real. Too much negativity. You're a vampire sucker. You feel me? You come and you speak love, but in your heart, it is not the same. Your intentions are different. You feel me? So I am so happy that our mode of transportation is not the same because a lot of y'all ain't righteous. Okay, you are not righteous. You are just pretending to be. You are selling your representation. Your real self hasn't appeared. And you know what I'm talking about. You're not real. So no, I don't want to be in that car going to California with you. No. You are very dangerous. You are a succubus. I don't want to deal with you. Okay? So yes, our mode of transportation will be different. I hope you get to your destination safely. All right? Because like I said, it's very simple. It's very simple. And that's why I never want to be called a master teacher. I tell people I am a master student because I'm always learning. I don't know it all. And I do not wish to know it all. But I know enough to get us out of this situation. Enough. And while I'm working on something, why don't you work on something else? And then we come together. Right? Opposed to trying to tell me, oh, well, that's not what we're supposed to be doing. Well, how the hell do you know? Let me ask you a question. How many of y'all go into a court and shut down or assist your people and write notices for them where a judge, a magistrate literally gets off his bench and run off? How many of y'all have assisted your people with child support situation? How many of y'all have assisted your people where they got caught with 7 pounds of weed and had the state run? How many of y'all have assisted your people in getting citations? How many of you have assisted your people with IRS? How many of y'all have done that? How many of y'all have assisted your people with going to their job and sending notices so that they don't pay taxes? You see, y'all are just talking, but I'm putting in the work. Do I get compensated for it? No. At least not the way that I should with what I know and how much I do. But you see, that's just the nature of our people. So for all those of you who come on this channel and you want to criticize, you know what, man? This ain't the place for you. It don't bother me. And I'm not speaking this because it bothers me. No, I'm speaking this because I want you to know it don't bother me. Because I'm focused. Many are called and chosen a few. And my ancestors chose me for this. How do I know? They told me so. And I know the difference between, you see, the key is to know the difference on who is speaking to you. And how I know for a fact that it's them, because they come in their feathers. And everything that they tell me, it has come to pass. Every direction that they have led me on, it has come to pass. So I know I'm on the right path. I'm not saying that you are not. You know who your ancestors are, but I know who mine are. So I'm always going to preach and talk about unity. Okay? Once again, we may not have the same mode of transportation. I get it. I get it. We may have the same destination. So I'll see you when we get there. I'll see you at the mountain top. But you're not going to discredit me. You're not going to take away from what I have done and what I'm still doing and what I'm going to do. I am going to go to Washington. And for all those of you who want to go, let me know. I have gotten a few emails. I'm going to respond. I have to get the exact location where we're going to be at, and I will let you guys know. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to share this with you guys today because, like I said, it's real simple. Everything is, and that's going to be in the link below. Everything is voluntary. Okay. So this system we could overcome. Our victory is so simple, but you have to apply it. You have to make it applicable to your life. Having the knowledge is one thing. People say knowledge is power. Well, I say, guess what? Knowledge is not power. It's the application of the knowledge that's the power, because you could have the knowledge and don't do a damn thing with it. But I'm showing you how to apply it. I am showing you how to win. You see, I know how to win because I've proven it. Okay? I have proven it. So, we're going to talk about the SSN, the Social Security number. I'm going to read documents from their own website, from their own documents. So this is not my opinion. It is facts. All these things are optional, and that's also going to be in the link below. Okay? Notice, to all workers, employees, employers, agencies regarding the possession and the use of Social Security numbers. Even on the Social Security website, it tells you that it is optional. Okay? Let me read. There is no law requiring a person to have, obtain, or use a Social Security number to live or work in the United States. Social Security is a voluntary system, and there is no legal requirement that an individual obtain or use a Social Security number. The Social Security Act requires the Social Security Administration to establish and maintain records of wages and self-employment income for each individual whose work is covered under the program. A Social Security number is needed for that purpose. No Social Security benefits will be paid to you unless you obtain and use a Social Security number. So you see, here's the key. It is optional, but they always have to attach privileges to catch you. How are you going to catch a fly without shit? How are you going to catch bees without honey? So that's the honey. You know what, man? You don't need it. But however, if you want the benefits, such as Social Security benefits, such as the social, let me see, any programs that it covers, you know what I mean? Then that's the only way for you to get it. All the benefits. All right? That's the only reason why. And people think you're, oh, well, nah, you don't need the benefits, brothers and sisters, if you know how to manage your affairs. Okay? Let me continue. The Internal Revenue Services, IRS, imposes no penalty on an employer if the failure to show a Social Security number or tax identification number, TIN, for an employee was due to reasonable cause and not to willful neglect. See 26 LW section 6909 A3 section 6721 A2 13 section 6721 blah blah blah. All that's going to be in description so you could read it. Okay? So there's no penalties from IRS as long as you could show that you didn't do it because you were willfully trying to neglect. Okay? A willful neglect. Willful neglect. Now, how can they prove it was willful? They cannot prove, because what's will? How are you going to tell me what my will was? I am the only one who could tell you what my will is. So if I tell you it wasn't willful neglect, then it isn't. So there's no penalties for that. Okay? The IRS requires an employer, okay, requests IRC Section 6109 A3, the employee to provide the employer with either an SSN or a TIN. However, the employee may refuse to provide an SSN or a TIN. You see, it's your choice. It's voluntary. You could refuse that. Okay? An employer is prohibited. I'm going to repeat that. An employer is prohibited, Title 7 of the Civil Rights Act, from dismissing any employee for refusing to provide an SSN or a TIN because of their religious beliefs or creed. So therefore, if I tell you, I don't believe that I should have a social or a TIN because of my culture, my religion, my spirituality, then you cannot refuse me of a job or fire me or force me, because your ass will get a lawsuit. But people are scared. People are nervous because they're afraid to stand up. My brothers and sisters, it is so simple, but you rather make it hard. Section 7 of Public Law 93-579 provides that AX1, it shall be unlawful for any federal, state, or local government agency to deny any individual any right, benefit, or privilege provided by law because of such individual's refusal to disclose his Social Security account. So if you tell him, Lay, I don't want to give you that, it is against the law if they force you to. If you do not wish your employer to use your Social Security number, you should tell them in writing, like I said, the pen is mightier than the sword, that you elect to withdraw the use of the Social Security number and request your employer to enter the phrase employee refused to provide in the space provided for a Social Security number if and when your employer reports your wages and taxes. Okay? If and when. My brothers and sisters, it is so simple, but you rather make it hard. You see, that's what I do. So when people come and talk, I put in the real work. And I've written many notices for people who came to me to assist them with those situations. Okay? 18 USC section 242 and 42 USC section 1983 provides that whoever on the color of any law, statute, ordinance, regulation, or custom willfully subjects any person in any state, territory, or district to the deprivation of any rights, privileges, or immunities secured or protected by the Constitution or laws of the United States shall be fined under this article, under this title, or imprisoned not more than 10 years or both. You hear that? If they force you to, or they try to fire you because of they ask to go to jail, that's the law. Okay? That's the law. 42 USC section 1983 further provides that a violator shall be liable to the party injured, and an action at law, suit in equity, or other property proceedings for redress. In other words, if you force me to have a social, if you force me to have a TIN, or you want to fire me because I said I want to withdraw my number, guess what? You will go to jail and you will be sued because I am going to get redress. That's the law. 42 USC section 408 provides that whoever 8 discloses, uses, or compels the disclosure of a Social Security number of any person in violation of the laws of the United States shall be guilty of a felony, and upon conviction thereof shall be fined under the Title 18 or imprisoned for not more than 5 years or both. And guess what? This notice must, it didn't say this notice shall, or if they choose, it says must. This notice must be posted in a conspicuous place where it can be read by all employees, workers, agents, and agencies. Let me ask you a question. Where is that notice on your job? Does your employer have that notice on your job? Well, guess what? They're already breaking the law. All right? So when y'all want to come and talk, man, know who y'all talking to. All right? I do this for real. Okay? So that's the social security number. It's optional. And like I said, that's what I assist my people with. You feel me? Now we're going to go into the big bad wolf. Everybody's afraid of three little letters, the R-I-S. The IRS. There are 26 letters in the alphabet. Your entire lives, you've been going A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, G. You've been saying it all your life. Now that you are grown, you are scared of three letters of the alphabet. IRS. Brothers and sisters, they're just letters disguised to be a big bad wolf. Scaring people, intimidating people. I'm not afraid of letters. Okay? So, let me teach you what's lawful. Notice, to all workers, employees, and employers regarding the voluntary nature of the IRS Form W-4. Again, the voluntary nature. It is voluntary. Internal Revenue Code, Title 26, Chapter 1, Part 31, Section 3402P-1, open brackets, 26 CFR 31.3402 P-1, close brackets, provides that the IRS Form W-4 is a voluntary withholding agreement between an employer and an employee. There is no law requiring a worker or employee to complete the IRS Form 4. Section 31.3402P-1, voluntary withholding agreement. A. In general, an employee and his employer may enter into an agreement under Section 3402B to provide for the withholding of income tax upon payments of amounts described in paragraph B1 of Section 34.3401A3. Made after December 31st, 1970, an agreement may be entered into under this section only with respect to amounts which are includable in the gross income of the employee under Section 61 and must be applicable to all such amounts paid by the employer to the employee. The amount to be withheld pursuant to an agreement under Section 3402 shall be determined under the rules contained in Section 3402 and the regulation thereunder. See section blah blah blah. All that stuff is going to be in the link below. Okay. B. Form and duration of agreement. Except as provided in subdivision of the subparagraph, an employee who desires to enter into an agreement under Section 3402P shall furnish his employer with Form W-4 withholding exception certificate, executed in accordance with the provision of Section 3402 and the regulations thereunder. The finishing of such Form W-4 shall constitute a request for withholding. In other words, in layman's term, they are telling you that it's optional. Okay? Now, in the case of employee who desires to enter into an agreement under Section 3402 with his employer, if the employee performs services in addition to those to be subject of the agreement, the remuneration for which is subject to mandatory income tax withholding by such employer, or if any employee wishes to specify that the agreement terminate on a specific date, the employer shall furnish the employer with a request for withholding, which shall be signed by the employee and shall contain A. The name, address, and social security number of the employee making the request, the name and address of the employer, a statement that the employee desires withholding of federal income tax and applicable of qualified state individual income tax. See paragraph blah 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 blah. Okay? Once again, all that stuff is in there. Now, it says, no request for withholding under Section 3402 shall be effective as an agreement between employer and employee until the employer accepts the request by connecting to withhold from the amounts with respect to which the request was made. All right, so the employer have to accept it. A lot of times they don't want to, but you could put pressure on them for them to accept. If they don't, they are violating your right. Okay? An agreement under Section 3402 shall be effective for such period as the employer and employee manually agree upon. However, either the employer or the employee may terminate the agreement prior to the end of such period by furnishing a signed written notice to the other. Unless the employer and employee agree to an earlier termination date, the notice shall be effective with respect to the first payment of an amount in respect of which the agreement is in effect, which is made on or after first. Status termination date January 1st, May 1st, July 1st, and October 1st of each year. That occurs at least 30 days after the date on which the notice is furnished. If the employee executes a new Form W-4, the request upon which agreement under Section 3402 is based shall be attached and constitute part of such new Form W. This notice must be posted in a conspicuous place where it can be read by all employees and workers. My question to you is, where is it at your job? They're supposed to have it. In layman's terms, paying taxes is voluntary. You could withdraw your taxes because it's voluntary. Now, if you use that W-4 form, I would suggest you, again, use a disclaimer because it's their form. Anytime you use their paperwork, you have to use a disclaimer. I rather create my own notices and attach their form as an exhibit. Like I said, I do this for real. Okay? I do this for real. And I have assisted brothers and sisters by sending notices to their job where they stop taking their taxes. So for all those of you who just talking, let me tell y'all something. I'm walking the walk. Okay? I'm walking the walk. I'm not just talking about this. Anyway, all that information, those two forms are going to be in the link below. All right? So you could download the form, read it. Go ahead and do your own research. Don't believe me. Like I said, this is so simple, but you rather make it hard. I know how to win. My email is in the link below. Like I said, get your affairs in order. Get out of the beast. Okay? It is time to proclaim who you are. I'm not going to beg you to save yourself. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to lay the foundation out. I'm going to give you the tools to teach you how to win. At the end of the day, the rest is up to you. I cannot force you to do anything. This is Chief Kalinago with another video. Here standing on the shoulders of my ancestors. A true spiritual warrior for them. You feel me? And like I said, any one of you guys that want to go to Washington, send me an email. All right? Start working on your documents. Like I said, give them back their names. Work on your Aboriginal titles. Let us walk in our proper status as the American Aboriginals of this land. It is time to win. We can win, but you have to know how to use the tools. You have to know how to sharpen your sword. You have to know how to use your pen and your paper. All right? You guys have a great continuation, and I will talk to you guys at a later time. Peace and love.